back in the saddle, looking for a little affection. What's up, everyone? It's Monday. That's that Monday. It's Giant Monday. I'm fixing my soundboard here. I'm about to make sure that we have the proper modulation. Testing. I need the proper modulation. You know where that's from. You're cool as I am. Cool as ice, baby. Cool as the other side of the pillow. Do the quarterback whispers have Joe Shane's ear? Saw an article yesterday. Or maybe it was today. I don't know. But if you're looking for a real good article, go to NewYorkGiantsLive.com. Wonderful article on there today about salary caps and teams that really have screwed it up. But I've heard a quarterback whisper. I've heard that. What's up, everyone? What's going on, Greg? What's going on? Big Diet Ghost. What's going on? NK5. Mr. Moet Olsen coming in strong. Kevin T's in this here in his house as well. I hear Jim Harbaugh's getting in the ears of NFL coaches, NFL scouts, basically anyone that'll fucking listen. That's what it is. Whoever's going to listen about the wonderful J.J. McCarthy, and how they should select him, how they should bring him, how he is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. How if you're the Giants at 6, or hell, even the Patriots at 3, you'd be lucky to get J.J. McCarthy. You'd be lucky. Not even a little bit lucky. You'd be like Uber. And I'm talking Uber as in not the automotive service, but Uber lucky. Very lucky to get JJ. And anyone that played in sports, football or baseball or basketball at a competitive level and gone from like high school to college, a lot of times when you get a scholarship, especially in college, they go and contact your coaches, contact your head coach. And if the head coach loves you, all they do is give you flowers, send you roses, so to speak. And then as you go from college to the pros, again, general managers, scouts, head scouts, scouting departments, reach out to the former college coach. And if they love you, you get the roses again. You get the flowers. So right now, JJ is getting the flowers from Mr. Harbaugh, which is fine and interesting because now he's the coach of the San Diego Superchargers. Yes, I know. It's the LA Chargers. But in my mind, they'll always be San Diego Superchargers. They'll always be the San Diego Superchargers. But is this just because of the fact that it's the prodigal son for Jim Harbaugh? Because of the fact that he helped him get that championship, that he wants to see him serendipitously move to the next level and have this competitive edge against the other quarterbacks that are out there? I don't know. But you get worried. You get worried that Shane, that other people for scouting departments start listening to this, start hearing the buzz. There's some scouts that love J.J. McCarthy. There's some scouts that say, like we've said it at times, I don't get it. I don't see it. Does he have the arm? I think he's got an above average arm. Does he have the accuracy? Well, for people that post a 2-minute video about how great he was in college, I saw a 3-minute video about all the bad plays he made. Now we're going to get everyone. I'm just doing my monologue this morning. It's afternoon. It's lunchtime. I'm having chicken. Great diet I'm on. I don't even want to talk about this freaking diet. Great diet I'm on. It's great to get to eat whatever you want as long as it's nothing. But you also have some scouts that say, I just don't get it. I don't see it. I don't see what everyone else is raving about. Could the Giants fall into that trap? Could they take McCarthy at 6? Could they trade that pick for a quarterback hungry team, maybe like the Minnesota Vikings that want McCarthy? We already talked about it before. You're getting a second first round pick. You're going to have to do a lot of cap maneuvering. I keep looking at the cap numbers. Everyone looks at the cap numbers with the rule of 51 and goes, we got $9 million. I look at the cap numbers without the rule of 51, with the rookie draft pool, with the other issues and other things that you need to have, like Joe Shane's operational cap space. I also take a look at things like, we're just not going to continuously get into it because we've got into it a million times before, but you got to talk about the practice squad players. You got to talk about everything else. So with all this, and still with the restructure of just one contract, so you have to restructure more, you're around negative 20-something million. If the season started tomorrow, if you broke training camp, season starts tomorrow, you're negative 20-something million. So things need to get figured out. I love when people are like, well, the Giants are going to go trade for that big-time wide receiver. So you've already swapped one of your you swapped your 5th round pick this year, gave up a 5th round next year, and gave up your 2nd, not Seattle's 2nd, this year. So you only have 6 picks this year, and I think you only have 6 picks right now. I don't remember how many next year, but you are going to get compensatory picks for the free agents you lost, such as Xavier McKinney and Saquon Barkley. But the problem is this. You can't keep getting rid of assets. You can't keep burning through your draft capital. And if you go up and trade back into the first round to get that additional first round pick, you got to fit it under the cap because it's guaranteed money. I've said it a million times. I didn't invent math. We talked about once on this live stream who invented math or where math came from. I should say where more where not basic math came from, but more advanced math. But we don't need to talk about that again. I didn't invent math. I didn't invent the numbers. And the numbers tell me if Daniel Jones gets hurt and can't play, we're screwed in 2025. It's almost like you just want to sit. If it's me, I just sit Daniel Jones for the year and then dump him and only dump for that $22 million. I make sure he passes that physical next year. I make sure he's passed. Because at the end of the day, it could be detrimental. Even more than that contract was now in 2025. It's a big old R0B in this house. You got to think of it that way. It could be detrimental if he can't pass that physical in 2025. So what do? I sit his ass down all year. I play Drew Lock because everyone loves the fact that Drew Lock can dance. Drew Lock has the moves. I love it because everyone shows the video of Drew Lock dancing. Give me the honey. Give me the honey. Yeah. Give me the honey. Doing the white man dance. Yeah. I'm Drew Lock. I can dance. I can't throw a pass. Giant fans like to talk about how I beat them on that 77-yard drive, but I was 2 for 6. The Giant D gave up a big play and a big run. That's what you have to look forward to in Drew Lock. So at that point in time, that means I should be the Giants starting quarterback because I can dance, I can sing, I can rap. I can do it all. I'm the jack of all trades, master of nothing. Or sometimes they say the masturbator.
That's what she said.
So what do the Giants do? I mean, honestly, what do we do? The smart money is they're going to take a wide receiver, but there's more buzz coming out though now that New England may go with Jacoby Brissett and draft Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, we've been talking about that on this show for how long now? There's a potential that Drake May could fall. There's a potential that Jaden Daniels can fall. Hell, there's a potential that Marvin Harrison Jr. can fall. And that a smart team, maybe with 2 picks, Minnesota, jumps up to that Arizona spot and grabs the guy we want.
That's what she said.
You don't know. That's why the Giants have to be smart. Something they haven't been in I don't know how long. Something they haven't been in years. So hopefully Shane, who hasn't been the smartest or the sharpest tool in the shed, figures something out. As Big Greg says, hit that like button. Why? Because if you don't, I'm going to dance again. Let's say hi to everyone this morning. Well, that was my opening monologue. That opening monologue was brought to you by me. Got a new project. Big project. Huge project coming up. It's not a giant project. It's an NFL project. But it's a huge project coming up. And I will... it's actually another YouTube project. And I will... and it's going to be on this channel and on a different channel as well. But I will let everyone know probably in the next 2-3 weeks what this project is. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of exciting. I'm going to be the 50-year-old Mr. Beast. Ryan Trahan. Let's game it out. Yes, my son makes me watch all these things. I actually like Let's Game It Out. Big Greg says, Tim, big thanks for yesterday. What do you think? Greg. Those that do not know, Big Greg from Sweden was on yesterday. Kevin T says, what's up, Tim? Greg says, hit the music. Hit the like. Tim's on the mic. What's up, says Zygos. Looking fit. Looking strong. I've actually dropped 13.5 pounds. I'm on an AIP diet. It's a medical diet because I have so many problems with inflammation all over my body because some idiot used to play ball. And when he probably shouldn't have played, he continued to play. And they always tell you back then when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, you know what? When you hit 50, all this shit's going to catch up to you. Well, it catched up to me and landed on me like a fucking brick. MK5 says, I would trade up to in case Daniel Orem may fall. And if they both are taken, you're a lock for Marvin Harrison. Win-win. Win-win lose because you don't have a fucking quarterback. Moet says, what's up, Tim? Chris says, what's up, Tim? Big Kevin says, what's up, Tim? Dr. Garrett. So Big Greg says, that's what I said yesterday regarding JH. You did. Asmi said, how are they hanging, Tim? They're one's hanging to the left, the other one's hanging to the right. LeVar says, Tim, I'm here. Let's talk. Let's give them something to talk about. Mr. McCormick says, hey, Tim, what's going on? Big Greg. Okay, Jim, give us Herbert. We will do a swap. And you know what? I'm going to give you, Jim, Harbaugh, looking at you. I'm going to give you 6. I'm going to give you a first rounder next year. Hell, I may pull a Sonny Weaver and give you a first rounder the following year. All you got to do is give me the duck. Done. Put it in the books. What is Saul the Footmore Swamp? Sup, Tim? Captain Alvarez, Mr. Alvarez says, with the draft is playing out and teams trying to trade up, possibly to bring up the backs, top 5 picks may be a lock. The Giants might have to just let players fall to them or trade back. I think the Giants, if they play this right, and if something stupid happens, because everyone always has these immortal locks. This guy is going number 1. This guy is going number 2. Then someone always does something crazy, like a Mitchell Trubisky move, like a Raider move, like a former Al Davis Raider move. Not former, he passed away. But they always do something different. So you never know. You know, you could be sitting there at 6 and have Jaden and May. You know what would be ludicrous? That let's say Caleb goes 1, and let's say the Patriots, or let's just say Washington takes McCarthy, and let's say Marvin Harrison Jr. is sitting there and at 3, and New England does take him. Giants could potentially move up 2 spots and grab any quarterback they want. And people keep forgetting about Penix. I don't think he's getting past the Raiders at 13. We've talked about that. But he is a guy that should be in the throes of conversation for the Giants. Dr. Garrett says, don't want JJ. How do you evaluate a quarterback that has put so little on tape compared to these quarterbacks? He hasn't been put in many high-pressure situations. 659 passes the last 2 seasons. Didn't complete a 3rd or 4th down pass until the end of the 3rd quarter in the championship game. He was not the reason they won the championship game. The defense in the running game was. And the fact that Penix missed 3 big throws. Penix hits those 3 guys wide open. Washington wins by 14. But sometimes the ball falls your way. We saw that 2 years ago with the 7-2 Giants. Daryl says, yo, Tim and OBB family, hit that like button. Kevin T in this house says, if Joe is being persuaded, then he's broken and the Giants need a new GM. It's a possibility he is broken. There is that possibility. There is possibility that Joe Schoen's just not a very good general manager. Cap management aside, because maybe Kevin Abrams are still involved in that, but cap management aside, there's something very wrong with our cap. And he was supposed to come in and fix it. Shane was. He was supposed to come in and fix it. He was going to fix it. He was going to fix it and not make moves that would hurt future cap. Signs Daniel Jones, trades for Waller, brings in Burns. Even came out last year and said, end of last year, I went against my own philosophy by giving Daniel Jones that big contract. Okay, well, Shane, there's no one at fault but you for that. There's no one else at fault. Not me. I know everyone likes to blame me. I know that. Everyone always likes to say, we've said it before, Tim, you're bougie.
Out of here. Get your hands off me, Maria. Nobody call me bougie. Maria, what is bougie?
It means you think you're better than other people.
What in the hell? Bougie ass Charles.
LeVar says, within the first 3 rounds, I feel like we will address the wide receiver position at 6, quarterback at 47, running back in 3, and Joe Milton after that. I'm not taking Joe Milton till 6. Talked about that before. I can't do it. You know, he is going to be a project pick. We all know that. There's no way around that. He's got the NFL talent in reference to his arm strength. He's got these intangibles, but the problem is at the end of the day, he's got a lot of work. He needs a lot of work done. Won't you be my neighbors? Hello, neighbor. I'm still taking neighbors. What's up, Big R0B? Jose said, GM Tim, have you ever seen an owner ever say the organization has done everything to fail a player and you didn't invent math? I didn't invent math. We've talked about this before. If anyone can remember who basically invented not basic math, we've gone through this. We've gone through this before, guys. It was the Sumerians. We know this. We had the global scholars on a couple of weeks back on I forget what stream it was, about who invented math. I always say it. I'm going with the Sumerians. We talked about that, but no, I have never seen a general manager ever sit there and say, or an owner sit there and say, we fucked up. we broke down this guy so much that we just need to just give him 7 years. If after 7-8 years, Daniel Jones is not the epitome of the NFL quarterback, know what we're gonna do? This is what we're gonna do. We're going to give him 9 more years. No, I've never seen that. We overplay. Everyone talks about Gellerman overplaying his hand all the time. He's a gold jacket guy. We're taking him at 2. Mara does the same shit. Different day. R0B says, you got room, sir? No, I got a house full today. If you want to come on R0B in about 20 minutes, sure, I got room. I got to make sure I get to the chat today. I wouldn't play Jones either. Sit his ass. Mr. Roberts says, hey, Tim, do you think if the Vikings trade up instead of giving them to the Giants 2 first-round picks this year, they give the Giants a first this year, 1 next year, and have 2 picks next year? No. I think, if anything, Minnesota's, if there's a quarterback on the board that they really want, they're going to make the swap for the first 2 they have, the 2 rounders this year, because they're not going to give up assets for next year. And they're probably going to have to throw in a couple of the picks to make that not Herculean leap. To make that leap, though, the Vikings need a quarterback. Cousins is gone. They need a quarterback. They need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out quickly. The Vikings didn't trade for an additional first-round pick because of the fact that they just thought it'd be really cool to have 2. I can see the Viking room now. Let's just get another pick. Why? Because it'd be like really cool. We'll have 2 of them. Well, this would be 4. Just ask the Sumerians. I don't think so. I would not play him either. Kevin says, oh, Kevin, you want... I guess that was earlier when I was doing the white man dance. I just thought Kevin was talking about, hey, Tim, do the white man dance again. Give me the honey, and let me love you. Yeah. So you got to look serious when you're doing it, babe. Especially when you're in the club. You're looking at that girl from across the room. You got to be like, no. Yeah, I was a clubber back in the day. I was always saying I never wanted to be the 40-year-old in the club. Well, I stopped going to clubs when I was like 39. I had my kids late. I had my kids late in life. I'm 50 plus with all these little kids running around. I guess there's still some lead in the pencil. Hey-oh. And the minute Drew is stinking it up, the chance for DJ to come in, Dable will give in. What's up, Warzone? Haven't seen you in a while. Evidently, Rob is praying to Jesus because, dear Lord, we pray. We got to pray just to make it today. That's all we need. Drew Lock dancing, Walla Waller, rapping in the locker room. That's a winning formula. That's sarcasm.
What?
Warning, sarcasm. Warning, sarcasm.
I've almost got the soundboard labeled. Stand back. I got like 200 sound effects and I have 50 buttons, but I can then move the buttons and There's a lot of things going on here. Mr. Albert says, better sit the entire year. If anything, lie and say he is rehabbing, he's going slow this whole season. They need to pull what they did to Caparuni. So to keep Willie Beeman starting,
I find
Gotta get to work.
what did they do? They said, Cap, you can't play. Why?
Come on. My name is Willie. I keep the ladies screaming and all my fans got screaming. You can defeat me. You're dreaming.
Flex your chest. Get metrics. Pull a Caparuni. Tell him you can't play. Tell him he can't play against New York. Oh, wait, no. That wouldn't work. I am liking the JJ more and more than yesterday. Won't be mad if we draft him. I'm not going to be mad if we draft JJ. Not going to be mad. I don't get mad. I get even. I'm not going to be mad because I'm tired of Daniel Jones. Said it before. Williams, Daniels, May, Penix, McCarthy. Take any of those 5 at 6. I'm not complaining. I'm not saying nada. I'm just sitting there like, sup? I don't have to deal with this idiot no more. Giants will trade up to 4. I hope you're right. Dr. Garrett says DJ only dances on stage and his only friend, Zach Bryant. DJ should not be dancing on stage. In all respect to DJ, I finally got to see that video. In all respect to DJ, he's technically doing the cowboy white man dance. At least I'm doing the cool white man dance. Lowell Ely manager Jamira punching the air right now. They wanted Jones. Good luck sitting. R0B says
1, 2, 3. Wait there.
we gotta wait. R0B is gonna make us do it all the way.
That's what she said.
I was just joking. R0, if you want to jump on, I'm gonna put the thing in the chat. The thing. You're still around here. I'm gonna put the link in the chat and the thing. I know it's very technical to put the link in the chat and the thing, but there you go, R0. I put the link in the chat and the thing. Diego says, not gonna lie, Shane came in a bad situation. He's trying to be cute about fixing the situation. Joe's gonna cute his way out of a job. Oh, I love that. He is getting cute. He's getting real cute. But the problem is, he's right now beer goggles cute. He's got like 7 beers in him right now. And that girl at the other bar looks really good. One more beer later, we'll find out. But think about that. He's beer goggle cute right now. And it's just not working. You came in to fix the cap 3 years ago. You're still in the same situation, if not getting worse. And you have 5 guys tied up like almost 50% of your cap. And one of them's a quarterback with 2 neck injuries and an ACL. One of them's a guy you just brought in, gave $25 million. He's a carbon copy of the guy you drafted 2 years ago. And another guy is a guy that you brought in because of the fact that you thought he was going to be the missing piece, the weapon for Daniel Jones and Waller. Let's not even forget about Paris Campbell, because I think we all forgot about Paris Campbell. Todd says, I don't think Harbaugh wants his college quarterback in the NFL is a passing league. I don't think he does either. Danny Crazy Eyes says, Danny Crazy Eyes, I love you, man, because you always come in and the one thing out of your mind is Daniel Jones still stinks. I love that. I want Rome at 6. Well, Rome wasn't built in a day. Paul Schwartz says, well, the pimp next like that. Paul Schwartz says, put out a ridiculous article today saying Joe Shane doesn't have to stress about the draft. JJ Drake or Daniels can sit a year behind Daniel Jones. Mr. Jones. Yeah, I don't think that's the way to go. I really don't. Hold on, I gotta text somebody real quick here. I got a house full of people. I don't know why. Hold on. Why do people text me? Link. Oops. Woo. Here we go. Give me that honey. Todd says, Williams could pull a Manning Elway and tell Bears, no thanks, work it out. If they thought that was going to happen, they wouldn't have moved on from Justin Fields. Douglas says, hey, Tim, snacking on some Skittles while watching since I still have 5. I'm still 5 at heart. Well, at least you're 5. My wife says I act like a 3-year-old. Mr. Quiones says we need to draft a quarterback, Milton at 3rd, to sit and develop with Dable. You can't take Milton at 3. That's crazy insane if you're going to take Milton at 3. You can't do it. Todd says, we fixed it by making the holes even bigger. Woot woot. Born a G-Man says, I don't want Penix. He is a lefty. Steve Young was a lefty. I'm not sure how that Steve Young guy worked out. He was a lefty, right? Isn't Tua a lefty? Tua's a lefty, right? Now we don't want to go with Shane Falco. I know he was a lefty. Scott Mitchell was a lefty too, wasn't he? But we're not going to go with Scott Mitchell. Michael Vick was a lefty. I'm trying to think of lefties. What's his name? The guy from Jacksonville. Brunell was a lefty. The Snake. How can you forget Kenny Stabler, a lefty? Boomer Esiason and Jim Zorn. All pretty good lefties. So, I mean, the rotation of the ball is different. Everyone tells you that when it comes out from a left-hander because it's reversed. And then you would have X on the right side protecting his blind side if it's going to be Evan Neal or whoever they bring in. Because they talked about Evan Neal moving to guard. They've reached out to Evan Neal's camp and said, would you like to be a guard? Evan Neal's like, no, I don't want to be a guard because I'm like Orlando Brown Jr. I'm playing right tackle, but I want to be given left tackle money. People forget about that. The NFL is based on how much money you have. That's just what it is. Let's send that out too. Oh, I'm so good at emailing. I'm multitasking today. I'm very excited about the new project. I'm thinking we're going to announce the new project in about 3 weeks. 3 weeks. It's a big project. I mean, people are like, Tim, you've been doing daily streams. What's going on, man? You haven't put out a video in a while. You just keep doing daily streams. Well, it's all part of the big project. It's a huge project. Knock, knock, who's there? A humongous project. What do we say? Joe Shane Train. Do you think Joe Shane will draft a QB in round 1? Are you crazy? Do you guys think he will last if he does bad with Jones again? Here's the problem with Shane. The way this is played out, he's almost has to take a quarterback because it's going to extend his warranty. We got a 24-month warranty from a car dealer right now. The warranty's up. Joe's and the car dealer calls him and says, hey, Joe, do you want the extended warranty? Joe's like, the only way I can get this extended warranty is if I draft a quarterback. Because then you can sit there and say, well, I have a rookie quarterback. I need another year to keep screwing up the fucking cap. Because I'm doing it real well. Heck no. He's going to draft a quarterback. Give him a leeway at least. Here's Joe Shane Train. I'm going to give you, I love your name. I love the name. I'm going to give you a little knowledge. Joe Shane already picked a quarterback. The moment he signed Daniel Jones, the moment he signed him, he was no longer Dave Gettleman's draft choice. He was now Dave Gettleman's ex-quarterback and Joe Shane's quarterback. Because the moment you signed him that big contract, when you could have let him walk or you could have tagged him, and if you couldn't get anything for it, you could have rescinded the tag and then gone out and gotten a quarterback and not put yourself in this cap purgatory, he became Joe Shane's quarterback. So technically, he's already picked a quarterback, and he picked Daniel Jones. Well, that didn't work out well. Where's your respect for Tim? Where are the likes? Yeah, where are all their likes? And where's R0B? He's like, I want to come on. So I put the link in the chat. Does he come on? No. Now he's not invited. Give me that honey. MK says, do you think our first year, this year, and next year has more value than the Vikings first? If you look at it that way, yes, I think we have more. I think our picks would have more. Well, here's the thing, though. Wow, you got me thinking for a second here. Yeah, there's smoke. And where there's smoke, there's fire. Wow. Do you want the fan answer or do you want the actual answer? Because the fan answer would be no, we're making the playoffs. The actual answer is our pick next year, if you have Daniel Jones as your quarterback, it's probably worth more than anything the Vikings can give you. You're right. Razzle the Great says, if you're worried about them drafting Penix, please don't be. He's too tan for that. I love that when someone texted me and said, well, Russell Wilson could go to the Giants because he's the right shade. I was like, well, that's really kind of fucked up. And he still went to Pittsburgh. Hey, yo, Glenn says, I'm truly looking forward to the draft because free agency is shit. No, the free agency is the greatest free agency in the world. We got a guard who, per Green Bay, was the weakest link in their line the last 3 years. And don't pull the guard because he has a tendency of falling over his feet. And he can't really run block well, but he's a good pass blocker. And he has problems with pre-snap penalties. And they said if you asked for anywhere near $10 million, they were just going to let him go. This is a team that beat the Cowboys in the playoffs, and they just let a piece of their starting line just leave for $6 million this year. They just let him go. That's how much they respected him in Green Bay. Brian Burns was your big guy. Burns was your free agent, but he really wasn't a free agent because we traded for him. White man dance, a lot of hands and swaying. Problem is, man, you can't get up and dance here. You know, if I can get up and dance, I could, you know, I could pop and lock. I can do it all, man. I can do the Cabbage Patch. I can't. I don't know if I can do Running Man anymore. Tim, you're freaking hilarious. I love this. You know what's funny, Razzle? I always laugh about this because I say this all the time. Because when you got anyone that, I mean, I don't know what the clubs are like now because I haven't been to the clubs in years, but anyone that goes out into the clubs knows this. Yeah, you have to have. I gotta find it. Where's the T? This is the T-Brad theme music. Hold on, I gotta find it. Where's the T-Brad? I lost the T-Brad. Hey, I lost the T-Brad music. Because of the fact that I'm just laughing now because you're right. You have to have, if you are the white guy in the club and you don't know how to dance, first thing you always do is jazz hands. A little bit of jazz hands. You do jazz hands. Razzle says, yo, hello. And Mr. Weaver says, if Jim Harbaugh what? Greg says, I don't think offensively minded coaches works regarding the Giants with the slight expectation of Jim Castle. Get a defensive minded coach, get a young, brilliant offensive mind to run your offense. We got that in Kafka. Going into year 3 with Mike Kafka. Everything's gone so right with Mike Kafka so far. He only didn't get fired because of the fact that the Giants didn't want to lose an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. Kafka should be gone. Let's just be honest. Logic's fine is coming all the way from Germany. JJ McCarthy is a systems guy. The Giants don't have a head coach to build around a systems quarterback. The Giants have the team to cater to a system quarterback. Drafting JJ is a lateral, not an upgrade. Sometimes a lateral can go for a touchdown. Just saying. Mr. Weaver says, if Jim Harbaugh wants JJ, give us Herbert because of the Giants. I wouldn't want to reach because if you reach with the quarterback, I won't even be shocked if no fans show up next year. Good afternoon, Tim. I have to show up. I left my credit card on file and the Giants renewed my season tickets. Glenn says, favor. Hey, Tim, need a favor, please. What's your favor? Or do you want to just email me, tim@onlineBigBlue.com, and I will give you, I'll let you have an audience with the king. That's the button I need to find. That's the button I need to find when I see if I had that, this show would be so awesome if I actually labeled shit, because then shit would be funny and then I wouldn't have to find it and then I wouldn't have to go back and I wouldn't have to look for shit and then I have to look for shit again and then I still have to look for shit and then here we go. Because then if I would have found it, I would have said,
"Hail to the king, baby."
That's what I would have said. Hardball is trolling heavy. Razzle says, you must be sipping Mara's free medium soda from 2 years ago. The Commanders will draft Joe Milton at 2. Vic was a lefty. Phil Simms was a natural lefty. People do not remember that. That is true. I forgot about that. Chris says, Burns, a Kevin Tipper comparison tells you all you need to know about Schoen. His assessment of talent is probably highly questionable. As soon as he gets his camera figured out, we're gonna try to bring someone in for a minute because I got to get to everyone's chats. Because someone mentioned the other day I didn't get to everyone's chats. Jose Quiona says at least his name is Joe Milton the third. I wanted him in the third. Oh, third Joe Milton the third. I'm sorry, Jose. But I think he's really. I think he's got a big upside too. Mark Burnell, left end. Mike says trade back for the Vikings. Grab Rome at 11 and Penix at 23 would be the ideal draft situation for me. Let's see if Honeypot is on the stage. Honeypot. Honeypot.
Oh.
What's up, brother, man? What you doing?
Hanging out, listening to you. It's been a long time, motherfucker.
It has been a long time, man. You wanted to come on. You must have something you need to say.
To be honest, it could be worse. You know, it could be worse.
How? Daniel Jones could be our starting quarterback?
No, that at least the injury shit. It's not, oh, can he play? Is it bad? It's an injury thing. Hell, Peyton Manning, everybody leaves because of injury. You know what I'm saying? So it's a known thing because it's true about his play. You got no control. If they love him, they love him. But the injury is undeniable. You know what I'm saying? That's undeniable. You can bring that anywhere. That's good. Universal is the injury.
That's universal, but Peyton Manning had the spinal stenosis and the back injury and everything else, and then he left the Colts and then went to Denver for 2 Super Bowls.
Nobody's using that for Daniel. Nobody's using that.
I know, but I'm just saying in reference to the injuries.
I'm saying injuries it's starting to be like, yo, he is. I mean, coming off of ACL, hasn't really produced. So if you do like him or don't like him, I'm saying the injury is a common ground everybody can come to and sit down and speak about. You know what I'm saying?
I agree, but I also have to think people need to remember 1-4, his last 5 games starting, that horrid interception.
But everybody can work back to the end of time how they feel. Oh, the line, the this, the that. But I'm saying the injury is the.
Oh yeah, injury is one thing that can be a common ground for a common denominator for all Giant fans. I agree 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna. I like him. I like him.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question because you are. I'm not gonna call you a Daniel Jones enthusiast, but you telling me that you like Daniel Jones.
I like him.
What do you like? What do you like Daniel Jones about? What makes you like Daniel Jones? What do you sit there and say, I like Daniel Jones because of X?
He really
it shouldn't take you this long to give me an answer.
No, it does. I mean, I'm just on this. I'm just, he really sold me that year. I mean, when we played the Packers, he just kept driving and winning games late. It was a magical season on that. But I'm not tethered to the man now. Okay, I didn't say that. I said I like him. Okay, I'm in the injury medium.
Which Packers game?
Last year against the Packers?
That was Tommy DeVito.
No, not last year. I mean the good year he had, not last year. Not last year.
I was gonna say that was Tommy DeVito.
No. I apologize. And he was striking against the Cardinals. I'm not gonna lie. No. But that year had me sold. He told me that year.
But the problem is against the Cardinals. The Cardinals went to a Tampa 2 and they stopped blitzing because they were trying they were trying to sit on the lead in that second half. The Cardinals did because they had the astronaut quarterback, and they went to a Tampa 2 that second half and they stopped. They called the dogs off.
Yeah, but see, I'm so used to not.
Came back against the Cardinals.
We haven't gotten that from them, and that we haven't gotten these late game comebacks from only since Eli. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying he reeled me in that year. He had me. Okay, he had me liking him because before that I was done with him. Okay, but I'm like this is what I'm telling everybody. It could be worse. This is what I mean by that. It could be worse because the injuries, things coming up. And no matter what, if he plays bad this year, it's done. You know what I'm saying? The contract, you weren't in the meeting. You know, it sucks. It's the money. You know what I'm saying? But we could still. We didn't give up a 2 first-round picks last year for him or nothing. You know, it's like we signed him to a bad contract. We still got our picks. Shane, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know, it could go either way. You know, but he could change it this year. And I like Malik Neighbors. I'm sorry. I mean, the guy's just oozing touchdowns. Like I see this.
I love Neighbors. I've talked about that I don't know how many times.
Yeah, and it's LSU. You know that's platinum. Even if he's not a superstar, he's gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? LSU. Nobody and I've never heard anybody hyped coming from LSU and not being good. You know what I'm saying? It's like Jamar Chase. That man came in and you know that's how I feel like he's gonna be.
We had some guy from LSU that was pretty good.
I feel like yeah. Oh, I mean, they're saying who knows about that? That might have been Eli.
I think if we talk about injuries, I think injuries is what really took down OBJ after he left here.
Yeah, he was spectacular the first 3 years. If you put that tape on, I mean, you're giving up 4 first-round picks to that guy. I mean, that's what, and I feel like the line is starting to get sniffed out as a problem. You know what I mean, Tim, I've been trying to get on here to say this. Everybody, we gave up the second most, really the first. I don't count 19 whatever from the Eagles. The second most sacks ever in NFL history last year. Like that is crazy. That is crazy. We almost gave up almost 6 sacks a game.
But what happened when Daniel Jones shifted and it was out of the game? Where outside of some bad performances from Tommy DeVito where he panicked and you can't minus the Tyrod Taylor games, what happened to the line then?
We weren't on pace when Daniel Jones. We weren't on pace to give up the second most sacks ever in NFL history.
Right, but if that was the case, and all of a sudden we had a couple games where we didn't give up any sacks,
and that tells you how bad the line is. Right?
When Daniel Jones left, we didn't give up any sacks. Do you want to laugh? Yeah, I'm gonna laugh. You want to laugh? Daniel Jones's first game: 7 sacks, 3 sacks, 2 sacks, 11 sacks, 7 sacks. After Daniel Jones goes down, Tyrod Taylor comes in 6 sacks.
But he didn't have Andrew Thomas. He didn't have Andrew Thomas, though. He didn't have Andrew Thomas.
Andrew Thomas was hurt most of the year. Most people didn't have Andrew Thomas. That total serendipitously dropped, except the Tommy DeVito game where he panicked. So could it have been that maybe
because systems were all go in the beginning with him, and then it wasn't near the end. Then it became just don't get killed. You know what I'm saying? Like they gave him a little bit.
I was at the Dallas game when they gave up 11 or 7 sacks. I was at that game. I sat in that game, and I was at the Seattle game when they gave up 11 sacks. So Daniel Jones in those 2 games took 18.
You think that pick 6 was on Daniel Jones or Saquon?
What's that?
The pick 6 in that game? Who was that on? Who you feel like it
was on Daniel Jones? You can't throw the ball behind your running back behind the line as he's got to turn around falling down. That's not. Tell me this, but I want to get to Dan Jones real quick on this. On his 18 sacks in those 2 games, I would say maybe 3 of the sacks in the Dallas game were the line. The other 4 were Daniel Jones putting on the ball too long. I would say maybe 5 of the sacks in that Seattle game. I was at both of these games were because Daniel Jones held on to the ball too long.
You hurt me with that pick 6 shit though. You hurt me with that.
What did I do? I didn't do it. I didn't throw it.
I feel like you did. I'm feeling like you might have tipped it right now like that. All my life, I've always did it. I know it's a stupid thing to say, but if it hits your hand, you should. I mean, if I got Saquon, but he should have caught that ball. Like I don't.
This is
Tim. So who was the second one on?
Wait. This is
who was the second one on?
Wait, let me tell you something real quick. Let me tell you something. And I told people after this happened with that pick, go out to your backyard, get a friend and stand 4 or 5 yards away from your friend.
Yeah.
Turn around backwards, falling down, and have your friend throw the ball to you and try to catch it as you're falling down backwards. And tell me how easy that catch is, doing it in your backyard without any defenders around you.
Fuck that. If my friend is Saquon Barkley, I want to see this motherfucker throw it in the air over the house and run and get it again. I want to see shit like that, to be honest. If my friend Saquon Barkley, I feel like I should be able to fall over a fucking brick wall.
Explain to me this. How does Saquon Barkley go from 90-something receptions with Eli Manning and drops down to the 40s with Daniel Jones? Same guy. Same player.
About the interception. You're limiting me on the interception.
Eli, he can't catch the ball. I mean, he can catch 90-something passes. All of a sudden, with Daniel Jones, he can't catch
an interception.
Wait, could it be ball placement? Saquon Barkley's second year. Wait. Saquon Barkley's Saquon Barkley's second year when he got hurt. How did Saquon Barkley get hurt that year? In year 2. How did he hurt his ankle? Do you remember?
Chicago? No, I'm not thinking of Chicago. Wasn't it?
You want me to tell you how he hurt his ankle?
How did he hurt his ankle?
Going and trying to get a bad pass from his quarterback. That's how he hurt his ankle that year. And then they rushed him back for that game against the Cardinals in the rain. About that game.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, it's all Saquon Barkley's fault because they didn't win that game. Well, they rushed him back, and he shouldn't have been playing until like maybe 2 weeks after that. And then tell me this. In that same year, Saquon Barkley had 4 rushing games for 100 yards. 3 of them came with Eli Manning under center.
I mean,
Daniel Jones played more games than Eli, but 3 of Saquon Barkley's 100-yard rushing games that second year came with Eli Manning under center.
You're going off a rookie Daniel Jones and the smartest brain. That's the smartest brain, Eli Manning.
But you want your quarterback to progress to be an Eli Manning type. That's why we took him 6 overall.
Who was the second interception on the next week?
Which interception?
Another pick 6. Wasn't it the Cardinals? Yeah. Saquon off the hands. Who was that on?
I don't remember that one. I remember a couple weeks after that against the Eagles when he had the interception.
No, I swear to God, it was the next week because it happened again. I feel like
in that Green Bay game that he kept coming back. He was 21 of 27 for 200 yards. It was Saquon Barkley that was leading the charge, bringing them back against the Packers.
Tim, let's talk about him for 5 seconds. I
don't make this shit up. I'm sorry.
I don't like him. I'm glad we got rid of him, and I'm glad we paid DJ and Kayvon. Shut up, Kayvon. If you listen to this, why are you talking about the money?
Because of the fact that everyone in that locker room knew that Daniel Jones should not have gotten paid up on Barkley.
What's that got to do with me? I'm playing. You gotta sweat this man's because tell your agent to get something done. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't.
Someone that's been in NFL locker rooms and college locker rooms as a player, you talk about when people get what they deserve.
I got you.
That's when they talked about the disease of me that they thought was creeping into the Giants locker room. That's 100%.
That's why I'm not saying I'm tethered to the man. Okay, but
we are cutting the tether.
I'm not saying
you're not allowed to like Dan Jones anymore.
I said like. I didn't say I'm tethered to. I'm not saying I'm going down to look at the Titanic with him. I didn't say that. Okay. I said I like him. Okay. I like him. All right. But I'm cool with him going. Okay. And Saquon, no horrible pick from the second, first, 8th round. If they had 12 rounds, you shouldn't have got Saquon. Mark my words, Tim. I'm so glad. I wish he would have came to my team at my house so we could play him every day. Okay. Personal team, but we didn't. We get to play him 2 times a year. 2. Thank the Lord. He couldn't have went to a better place. He could have went to Dallas. If he would have went to the Rams, I'd have been depressed. He went to the Eagles. We get to play him twice. And his daughter, a child. Who cares what a child has to talk about? My son comes and tells me stupid stories all the time. Oh, we gotta win now? what? Talk to your father about, are we going to go to the park more, Dad? Am I going to see you more? You should have said that. She probably said that in the car. Are we going to win more? Was that not the craziest thing you heard in your life?
No.
No.
Kids,
Man, I don't like stuff like that.
kids,
The disrespect.
you know what's funny? Kids, especially at that age, speak honestly.
They do. We understand. We're losing. We understand.
Speak honesty.
Yeah, but I mean, why shouldn't she? Okay, Daddy. Then she should have been like, Daddy, get more. If Daddy got 100 touchdowns a game, you would have won more.
If Daniel Jones wasn't our quarterback, we probably would have won more.
I'm not saying you're saying it's all him, Tim.
Yeah.
Every bit of it.
Yeah. Someone that watched Daniel Jones play since 2019, and someone that's watched Daniel Jones almost every single home game, someone that's seen this guy not progress anywhere in regards to being an NFL quarterback in any reference to the point of pocket awareness, being able to read, having the ability to quickly get the ball out, having a basic understanding of awareness on the field. Yeah, I can tell you that I've never seen a guy in a 6-year career play as poorly as Daniel Jones, get as many chances, and still be the starting quarterback, and then get 100. We did it before on this season. You talk about his wonderful season, 3,000 yards, 15 touchdowns, 700 yards rushing.
It's wonderful. It was nice to watch.
Wait a minute. I'm going to put you on mute a second. We took all 31 of the starting quarterbacks. We averaged exactly what their stats were. Daniel Jones, that wonderful season was below average when you combined it with all the other 31 starting quarterbacks. So we paid him $160 million by NFL standards to have a below average season and lead a offense that was right towards the bottom of the NFL. And the only reason that he progressed that year is some guy named Saquon Barkley almost ran for 30 yards.
So you think Saquon's going to be a world beater over there?
I think Saquon's going to rush for about 1,800 yards.
1,800?
I think they are going to philosophize their entire offense around more of a running game, using also the legs of Jalen, because everyone talks about Jalen Hyatt having a bad year, Jalen Hurts having a bad year, but he still had 30-plus touchdowns last year. He was responsible for 30-plus touchdowns. So they're going to use more of a short passing game. They're going to hit you deep then after they lull you to sleep with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and use their tight end as well. Use the legs of Jalen, and then use Saquon as the bell cow. That's what the Giants should have did if they had a real quarterback.
I think he might have two picks, the same pick sixes.
I think you're gonna have a quarterback that's actually gonna put him in a position to catch the ball like he did the first 2 years with Eli Manning. Or the first year with Eli Manning. That's what I think personally is. That's what I personally think is gonna happen. Is it gonna happen? Lord knows.
We're not in a bad position. Okay, we're not in a bad position. It could be worse. Okay.
That's true. We could have
I'm with the quarterback. But I'm really with Malik Neighbors. That's what it's looking like it's going to be. Hopefully, the Vikings look like they're going to do the right thing, kind of like Spike Lee, and go above us and get a quarterback, and then he's going to fall, and then and maybe we hit on these, because these late round quarterbacks are the ones that are coming out that are kind of you know what I'm saying. I think we're in that boat. Let's try to. I'm not in the boat on 2 first rounders for a quarterback boat. I'm not in that boat. I'm not in the trade up boat. I'm not in that.
All right, my friend. Let me let you run because I got to get to this chat. I appreciate you coming on, dealing with me, because you always do.
Oh my God, he killed us, right?
Who?
Tommy Cutlets.
Tommy Cutlass killed us. But let me get to the chat, my brother. I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to drop you out right now because I really got to get to everybody. Whoops, sorry about that. I really got to get to everyone here because the people were telling me the other day I didn't get to everyone, so I want to make sure I get to as many people as humanly possible. Mr. Hartman says, I'm okay with JJ at 6 if he's there, but ideally, I still think we learn on Neighbors. I'm just going Neighbors. I only see Neighbors now because that's who I wanted. 6, Rattler in the second. If you bring in Rattler in the second round, I'm going to cry. Rattler's maybe a 4th rounder, 5th rounder best. Rome is not lasting all the way to 11. I do agree with that. OGR Sports chilling and listening from home. What's going on, my brother? Let's see. I'm gonna have to try to speed through some of these. Hey Tim, have you watched tape on Michael Hall Jr., defensive tackle out of Ohio State? Actually, I have not had an opportunity to do that yet. I'm going to. Kafka is generic OC. That's being nice. I was being very nice. David says, "Hey Tim, how you been? Just been hopping on. Been reading about Brian Birds and that he gives up everything not to on his side. Possibly Olivier Verdon 2.0. Yeah, I do think he's Olivier Verdon 2.0. Big Roy's in the house from Indian Land, South Carolina. The Crunch Bunch, which is behind me, a picture of the autograph picture of the Crunch Bunch. I'm hoping the Vikings save us from ourselves and trade up for a haul for JJ. I think we stick with the pick of Neighbors. I kind of hope they do too, because then I have a feeling that we have to go Neighbors. Sometimes you have to be saved from yourself. You're 100% right. Big Tim says, Logic Finals, we should agree to disagree, my friend. JJ McCarthy isn't the answer, but time will tell. I don't think he's the answer either. But honestly, at this point in time, I don't want Daniel Jones anymore. I always say that. Who's throwing him the ball? You're right. Hyatt is open. Boren G-Man says, Hyatt is open. Hyatt is open sometimes. Hyatt is open sometimes. King Thrill says, Mike is bad, bro. Mike is bad, bro. Well, King Thrill, you're a fucking idiot. So there you go. How about that? And we always say this before.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. Farewell.
That's the big King Thrill. We got Big James in his house as well. Seriously, what about the guy? The guy stands out. He's a generic base stat player. That's, of course, about Daniel Jones. Who want to buy me seats? I can't deal with who wants to buy my seats? I can't deal with this year. I got my own seats that I probably can't get rid of. Let me see here. What do we also got here? What do we got here? Logic Finance also says Giant fans are now Met fans, making excuses for mediocrity and no production. Don't worry, JD Davis is here. And I love it because people are like, well, JD Davis is going to the Giant. I mean, going to the Mets for $13.5 million. That's it. Yeah, because no other team wanted JD Davis. That's why or JD Martinez. I'm sorry. I'm thinking the old JD Davis. James says, neighbor's going to look like Wilson on the Jets. Always open. Won't you be my neighbor? What happened when DJ left was the real Neal was out too, and he had Tyree Phillips step in, coming back from the Eagles. What do we got here? And the latest news of how stupid the fan base is, people are saying the Giants should trade for Herbert, ignore the cap ramifications on both sides with the draft equity. Think 6 is good. I would trade for Herbert, but you're right. The cap, he's going to wreck the cap. He's going to have to restructure his deal just to even think about coming here. And I was joking when I said trade for Herbert because someone mentioned Herbert. DJ is shattered and broken for sure. Can't ignore the horrible ass line either. Daryl says Giant fans are consistently getting caught being prisoners of the moment. We're not prisoners of love. Tim said, this guy's delusional. He's making me mad. OG, don't get mad. What does Ghost have to say? I'm out, and DJ agree. He needs to go at this point, but to ignore how pathetic this offensive line performance scheme is wild to me. We're not ignoring that the offensive line was bad. We're not ignoring that. Their Giants in 2011 had one of the worst offensive lines in the league, and I'm not sure how that panned out. Does anyone remember that panned out? Something happened in 2012. I don't remember during that Super Bowl. I don't remember what happened. Don't remember. I was a huge Jones supporter. I have a Jones jersey. I feel very bad for you. Our fan base is loco. Is lenti loco. I will gladly get McCarthy jersey. I will get if they sign McCarthy, I'm getting. If they draft McCarthy, I'll get a McCarthy jersey. Will DeVito and Taylor in the O-line was playing better. Can't use that excuse anymore. You're right. But enough is enough. Still trashing Saquon. I see it. Oh, my God. When Saquon drops 140 on us and 2 touchdowns because some quarterback actually put him in a position to catch the ball and run and get some yak, and he's playing behind an actual offensive line, the excuse has always been the same. Daniel Jones doesn't have an offensive line. How can he operate behind this offensive line? It's horrid. Well, there's a guy named Saquon Barkley. I think the same excuse should apply to him, shouldn't it? Nope, doesn't. If we had Joe Burrows, I would keep him. If we had Joe Burrows, I'd keep him. Daryl says, we'll see how much Saquon doesn't matter to the offense. Giants go 9-7. Saquon almost rushes for 1,300 yards. Daniel Jones has an average NFL season, but somehow it's all Daniel Jones and none of it Saquon Barkley. Kayvon Thibodeau comes out and says Saquon should have been paid first. and he's bashing the quarterback. No, the locker room talks. Anyone that's been in an NFL locker room, I remember the Warren Sapp deal, or Warren Sapp trying to get a deal and then being moved on from the Raiders in Tampa. The locker room talked, but it's just that's just the way it is. This isn't the place for DJ defenders. Been here, done that, because all you have to know and all you have to do, of course, is go out and go to NewYorkGiantsLive.com, go to the store and get your He-Man DJ Haters Club t-shirt. You get yourself a t-shirt. You get yourself it's a He-Man DJ Haters Club. Go out to NewYorkGiantsLive.com. Go to the store, get your t-shirts, get your mug. High quality product. We only sell the best. With all proceeds going to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital, as always. Won't you be my neighbors? Hello, neighbor. I'm still waiting for an answer on what he likes about DJ. I was waiting for that too, but I wanted to make sure. $160 million for a backup, says Todd. Keyboard GMs are awesome. Yeah, we are. What do we see here? Tana still thinks Jones can be good. Someone send him a super chat. Yeah, because maybe he can buy a fucking clue. Dr. Garrett says, still want an answer. Growing a beard here. Math is stupid. It says people that probably can't do math. Jose says this guy is something, or he's on the take, but he's delusional. Jonestown fanatic. Oh, I like that. Jonestown fanatic. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Name one single player that Daniel Jones has made better. I'll wait. We're going to be waiting a long time. Hey, Beavis, numbers are stupid. Hey, Michael, tell your mom I said hi. Because you want to know why? Because it's time. Hey, we get to do this now twice today. I'm loving it.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. Farewell.
Greg says, entertainer is a kid who gets visits from his JV team. I don't think he played JV. I think he played left out. Oh, Big Ohio. What's up, Tim? DJ sucks. Does this dude ever even watch football? This is painful. We like Honey Pot. Be nice. It's just bad that DJ is a one-read guy. It's made it worse by him not being able to read the defenses or look off defenders. You just ask Witherspoon, who's still running. Dr. Garrett, this debate is worse than watching paint dry. Jay said, yo, I woke up in time for a stream. Well, hey, Jay. Overnights are rough, but Tim streams and nice coffee is always supreme, like Omega Supreme. What's giving something to talk about? Yeah, just 2 years late for the Yeah, that's what I was. Thank you. I was going to say JD Martinez is 2 years late for the Mets. Stanley says, hey, Tim, have you seen tape on Mike? No, I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch the tape. I promise you I'm going to watch the tape. We were better with DJ. That's an argument. Oh, that's argument is over. Love the shirt. It's my Black Rifle shirt and my Black Rifle hat. I'm actually going to go to the range today. Or are you talking about my DJ shirt? I got to go there. I got to get some range time in today. I get an itchy trigger figure today. So, and I just replaced one of the grips on my 6 hour 226. So I want to test that out today. So I'm going to jump on the bike and have a good time because it's beautiful weather today. Today, it's been raining. It was raining like crap. So I took the tether off the bike and I'm like packing my saddlebags. I'm like, I'm going to the range. Got a Jones jersey as a gift. My dog recently destroyed it. No, I didn't give it to him. Just instinct, I guess. Hopefully you gave your dog a treat. Jones may not blow, but he sure as hell sucks.
That's what she said.
Oh, my God. Even Fist Vegas gave up on Daniel Jones. He's ready for another quarterback to take over the reins. That's not even a ring and endorsement to Daniel Jones. When Fist gave up, it was well timed. Pimp named Slickback says, if they draft ends and the Giants haven't drafted a quarterback, Brian Dable might as well clear out his locker room. Also, if they draft JJ, he should be able to compete for the starting job right now. Listen, I think if I see Big Michael in the chat too. Did I miss your chat, Michael? Listen, I think JJ, if you're going to pick up JJ, he's going to have to sit a year. He's going to have to sit a year. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. He's going to have to sit. He's going to have to sit and learn. But do you really want him learning behind Drew Lock and Daniel Jones? I mean, that's just my thought process. Do you really want him learning in that scenario? Because to me, that's not a great scenario to learn. Oh, let's give them something to talk about. We're going to have a new video tomorrow. I was thinking about doing a video. We're going to do a video. I haven't done a video in a while. I've been working on the new project. What does Richard say? Richard says, why does Daniel Jones have trouble scanning the field since no one can see the other side and no one can see the right side? Everyone with the Daniel Jones lazy eye. It would be funny if it wasn't true. This guy's had problems processing plays since he came into the league. And like I said, Shermer, genius. And people are like, well, if he had one more year on the butt, Shermer, he really would have matriculated himself into this high quality starting quarterback. No, he wouldn't have. Shermer was smart. Shermer got it. Rookie quarterback. I got to save my ass. Bench Eli Manning, cut the field in half, give him a one read that he should immediately look to. If that read's not there, you have him run. Brilliant. Played well for periods of time. But then the league figures that shit out. And then they stop it. That was like his big season, 3,000 yards, 15 touchdown season. They did it against the Bears. The big play. Did it against the Texans as well. Their big play. Roll out. And they always rolled to the left, which I found interesting. Roll out. You have a tight end or a back as option one. That option's not available. He runs. They ran that play ad nauseum in the first half against the Bears, and the Bears figured it out. And the Bears got it. And the Bears stopped it in the second half, and the Bears almost came back and won that game. Same thing with the Texans. They ran that play ad nauseum against the Texans, and the Texans figured it out, and that was that. Why do you do something like that with a guy in year 4? Because he can't read defenses. Big Michael in his house saying, this team is trash. We're going to be horrible this year. I think we are. If you missed, if you talked about the new hip drop rule, love to hear your thoughts on it. I think that will make the game less enjoyable and give another reason to annoy fans. I didn't talk about the hip drop rule because of the fact that did it get approved? The hip drop tackle rule, did that actually approve the ban of that? I mean, I didn't see it. So that's why. And now it's going to, let's see, it's going to result now in a 15-yard penalty. I love it because then they define it. If a defender grabs the runner with both hands or wraps the runner with both arms and also unweights himself by swirling and dropping his hips and lowering his body and landing on and trapping the runner's legs or at below its knees. So basically you're banned. So basically by this definition, you are banning tackling. That's basically what this, the definition of you've just banned tackling. That's what you just tell me, because I'm going to read that again. If a defender grabs the runners with both hands or wraps the runners with both arms, which wrapping the runners with both arms would be proper technique for tackling, and also unweights himself by swirling and dropping his hips and or lower body and landing on and trapping the player's legs or so what, I'm supposed to defy gravity? That's what you're telling me I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to wrap as a former college player. Who was taught proper techniques and tackling. I'm supposed to wrap. And normally what they taught you is to wrap, lift, and then drive with your legs and push and go to. So you lift, drive with your legs and drive into the ground. That's what you're taught to do back in the 80s. That's what you were taught to do. So I'm not allowed to tackle anymore. I can see it's Daniel Jones at the 5, Daniel Jones at the 6. So I'm supposed to run alongside him and go, oh, I fell over. Wow. All right. That makes a lot of fucking sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Tim, what should be honest expectations of the season? 5 wins. Juan says it's going to be a rough year for sure. I agree. Mr. Harmon says, what makes you say Rattler is the 4th, and what would you recommend to fix our quarterback situation? Rattler, okay, he couldn't cut it in Oklahoma. He had to go to South Carolina. He cracked under the pressure of being into Heisman consideration, national championship consideration. I don't think he had a very good combine. I loved it because my wife, who does watch football with me, I just dropped the Super Bowl ring. My wife, who watches football, a lot of football with me, doesn't know any college players. She doesn't like college football. I love college football, but she doesn't know any. And we watched the quarterbacks. We watched them throw. We watched them do everything. And it was amazing how astute she was. She goes, Penix had the do-rag on, the purple one. And she goes to me at one point in time, I like that guy because he throws the ball better than everyone else. Penix. When I was like, well, she's right. And then she's picking on other guys. Like, I don't like this guy here. It was Devin Leary. He goes, she doesn't seem to have a very strong arm. She was right. And then she goes with JJ McCarthy. He's good. He's okay. But he has to like do a lot of contortion to make the ball go far. Not like these other guys that can just flick a wrist and throw it. She was right. She looks at Spencer Rattler and goes, I don't like him. He seems like he doesn't have confidence in himself. I don't like the way he throws, and I don't like the fact that he just doesn't see something just doesn't seem right with him. He doesn't seem confident. And being in the NFL, you need a lot of confidence. And I think she was right on a lot of that. Being the Giants are in one of the most woke areas of the U.S., I wouldn't be surprised if we trade up for Williams and a dress and painted fingernails. If he could throw a touchdown, he could wear that on the field. Don't care. Don't care. Stanley says, hey, Tim, are you afraid that when the Giants play the Eagles, Saquon Barkley is going to be a demon? I think, I am afraid of that. Against us, and it's going to try to rush for 200 yards, which is going to be scary. I think he's going to try to kill us. James says, it's like the end of Space Jam when Larry Bird told Bill Murray, it's over. You can't play. That's what Dable needs to tell Mr. Jones. Anyone who checked to see if DJ is playing with a welding mask on instead of a football helmet? That would be a good question. Sometimes you need a real woman to point out the silly Giant fans can't. And James, we got both of those. Stanley says, hey, Tim, would you be in favor of the Giants drafting Rome at 6 and then draft Leary? No, Leary doesn't. Leary, if you are looking for a guy, and Leary, he impressed at the combine, but he doesn't have the arm strength. I do not think he's got an NFL arm. If you're looking for a guy, if you are truly going to go West Coast and you are going to go short to very intermediate passes, Leary's your guy. Leary's got the accuracy. Leary's got the ability to bionic man and scan through the field and make the plays. But I don't think he's going to give you much outside of 40 yards, which is kind of easy to shut down because then you just play everything short. You bring everything in and you dare them to throw deep. So, yeah, that won't be a good situation. Blazin says, watch the Giants not draft quarterback with the first round pick, but instead build around Jones. Oh, Jesus. Tim, I've heard enough time. Get your wife on the scouting team now. She's going to come on the show one day. She asked me a couple months back. She's like, I should come on the show. I said, okay. I said, you should, because you're more astute than some fans that don't watch us. So, James, do you like JJ McCarthy? Just want your opinion. James hates JJ McCarthy because the simple reason that James is an Ohio State fan. Pimp name Slickback says the Athletic just ranked Daniel Jones' contract as the fifth worst contract in the last 5 years. But wait a minute, it's the best contract ever. It's the best deal ever. What are you talking about? It's the best deal ever. I heard that. I heard Patricia, whoever her last name is, and all these other people tell me what a great deal this was. When I looked at it and called it a fucking boat anchor and did a video about it and had a picture of a boat and an anchor and Daniel Jones' contract, I was told I was a hater. But wait a minute, it's the best contract ever. We can get out of it in 2 years. Just forgot about the injury clause and the $18 million that we had in that year 3, which turned into $22 million when we had to move cap space into 2025. So our quarterback bucket, even if you have 0 quarterbacks in the room, is now $22 million. We talked about it before. The brilliance of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Brilliance. You had Trubisky, you had Mason Rudolph, and you had Kenny Pickett. All of them sucked. You knew the quarterback position was your problem, was your bugaboo. So what do? You get rid of all of them. Bring in Russell Wilson, trade for Justin Fields, and your quarterback bucket this year is $4.5 million, which allow you to go out and get Patrick Queen and do all these other things. And you have the ability, because you have a 2-time Super Bowl participant and a Super Bowl winner, and a guy who was a number one pick, who to me has all the ability in the world. He just needs to be in the right situation. And what's a better situation for a quarterback than Mike Tomlin? The Giants, our quarterback bucket in 2025 has got a number of 22 million. And we talked about it before. I always count the salary caps as buckets. This is what I was taught. Count as buckets. Every position has a bucket. And some buckets you do not want to overflow. And what happens is our quarterback bucket is way overflowing. You got 40 plus with Daniel Jones. You got 5 million, 4.97 guaranteed with Drew Lock, and you got Tommy DeVito. So our quarterback bucket this year is 50 million. I have a $260 million cap. 50 million is our quarterback, 18% of our cap. More than 18% because if you count the other contracts, about 20% of our cap space, just the quarterback bucket. Pittsburgh Steelers, who are going to be a playoff team next year, are always a playoff team. Quarterback bucket is 4.5 million. 50 million to 4.5, and they have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. We have Daniel Jones and Drew Lock, who both came into the league at the same time in the 2019 draft. This is why my head hurts. Chris says, not surprising here, the shit about the hip drop tackle. The league has been heading towards making tackling illegal. Just put flags on. You should just play flag football. You really should. I mean, honestly, at this point in time. And I'm not being one of these old men being like, back in my day. Well, back in my day, you were allowed to hit people. Back in my day, the first thing you were taught was to wrap up, drive with your legs, and drive into the ground. Drive the ball carrier into the ground. That's what you were taught. Don't lead with your head, lead with your shoulder, wrap around, use your hips and use your legs and drive the ball carrier into the turf. That was then called proper tackling technique. You had tackling dummies. And this is back in the 80s and the early 90s. Yes, I get it. Things have changed. We now tackle robots. In this future, I don't know, maybe we don't tackle robots. I don't know. But that's what you were taught. That was the definition of tackling. And for them to basically say, if the defender grabs the runner with both hands or wraps the runner with both arms, which is usually defined as proper tackling technique, as long as you're not leading with your head, you're leading with your shoulder, and also unweights himself by swirling. So most of the times what you would do also when you tackle is you would twist and go down. Unweights himself by swirling and dropping his hips and or the lower body, landing on and trapping the runner's legs at or below the knees. So I'm supposed to tackle like this, and I'm supposed to like jet out my back and my hips because I'm not allowed to land on anybody. When do we become a society of namby-pambies? And I know, yes. Now I'm gonna have my get off my lawn old man moment. When did this happen? Can someone explain that to me? When can we just dust ourselves off and become men again? Is that allowed? Or I'm not allowed to say, when men were men. I love the fact about toxic masculinity. It's toxic masculinity. That's the problem. Yeah. When a fireman is running in to pull somebody out of a blazing fire, I want some toxic masculinity there. What do we got? I got a UPS package at the warehouse. R0B, I'm going to drop you on for a minute because I got to get out of here soon, my brother. But I saw you were on there. I sent you a link a long time ago.
Yeah, I saw. I was up at like 6:15 this morning.
I'm already fucking bored.
Sorry. No, it's okay.
I'm in a mood.
No, I got you. No, I was just up super early. I was outside. We had a snowstorm that's coming in here. So I was outside with the kids from like 7:00 in the morning until like a little bit after 10. So I like messaged you and I was like laying there and I was getting ready to get up and I guess I just fell asleep. So my bad.
That happens. The stream ends at like 1:30.
Yeah, my fault.
Well, I was like, you wanted to come on. I hadn't talked to you in a while. So did you get did you see what they did now with the hip drop tackle? Did you see how this is banned now?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a little bit like in a space this morning. Like, I don't have an issue with it, because if it's done right, you can serve like major injuries. And
But wait
I
a
think
minute.
that's how.
Wait a minute. Listen. Did you listen as a former player? Did you actually listen to the definition of how they're banning this?
No, I didn't. I just know that they banned
Wait,
it.
no, wait. Here we go. This is the definition. Now, a lot of this is the definition of actual proper tackling technique. If a defender grabs the runner with both hands, which I can say is not proper tackling technique, but wraps the runner with both arms, the first thing they teach you back in my day on how to tackle is you wrap with both arms, lead with your shoulder, not your head, and you drive with your legs. And dropping his hips or lower body, which would be driving with your legs, landing on top or trapping the runner's legs at below the knees. Okay, how is that going to be defined? Because from my perspective as a former linebacker and safety, the first thing they teach you against a tackling dummy is you lead with your shoulder, not your head.
Yeah.
You wrap, you lift, swivel, drive the runner into the turf. And where are you going to land?
I think they're talking about, so on Twitter, I don't know who tweeted it, if it was Tom Pelissero or Ian or something like that, but they had a picture of the fucking tight end from the Ravens, Mark Andrews, and they had him getting tackled, and I think that's the definition of it. The defender was behind him, wrapped around, and then dropped their body weight on the back part of their legs, and I think that's how he broke his leg or whatever he did.
But do you know what that's called?
Isn't that a hip drop?
No, gravity.
Yeah, but I think that's what they're talking about. Because I don't think he was the only one that got hurt like that last year.
Not what the definition is.
No, the definition doesn't sound like that. The way that they're describing it is if you're going head to head with somebody.
But
which doesn't make any sense.
I understand what you're saying, but I am literally reading the rule definition of the official rule definition. I'm literally No,
I get what you're saying. I don't even think that that's physically possible.
No, it's not.
If you're going head to head with somebody, I don't think you could hip drop somebody.
I love it because people like Darius Slay said there's going to be a lot of missed tackles. Another NFL player said, breaking news, we've just banned tackling. We have a bunch of NFL players that have come out and said that you are basically banning tackling and proper tackling techniques.
Yeah, I think the definition of which they use is very, very poor, because when you're going head to head with somebody, yeah, that's how I was taught. You dip your shoulders, you get your shoulder, you wrap up, and you drive up,
and then
you bring them down to the ground.
Drive down with your legs.
Exactly. What I thought they were talking about was the illustration in the picture that I saw, and it's.
I've seen
it was right here. This is what I thought they were talking about, where you're coming from behind, you grab the hip, and then you drop. And this was posted by Adam Schefter. And then he even says now unanimously banned against objection of the NFLPA. NFL owners vote to ban hip drop tackle. So that picture does not look at what they just described that you read, which doesn't make any sense.
JJ Watt said it best. He says, voted on tackling technique, posted on Twitter. Just fast forward to them with belts on and flags. Because what they are saying, and like I said, I understand what you're showing, but that's not the definition of the rule.
Correct. I think that they made either somebody made a mistake in the representation of the rule when they posted it.
No, but this is
picture is what I thought they were talking about when they were banning hip drops.
That's what
I thought they were talking about.
Actually, in the league, the NFL league, because I just pulled it up, the NFL league rule book. This is what is going to be. And here it is. Here we go. I'm going to put it on the bottom for everyone. This is what, and they don't talk about from behind until the very end. And they don't even say from behind. They said landing on or trapping the runner's legs.
But that's the only way that you can see. That's so funny.
Yeah, at the bottom it says legs or at or below the knee.
Yeah, and see, that's what's funny. You can't trap somebody's legs from the front.
No.
How do you? what are you wrapping your legs around them and giving them a like? How does that? You don't do that. You have no access. This is why I think with what you're reading, I think they misrepresented it, and I think they'll probably be somebody that adjusted because there's no way that you can jump on somebody's legs from the front. The only way you could drop your body weight on somebody's legs is if you're behind.
Well, the problem is this. Here's the problem. You have, let's say you have a big tackle. Let's say you have a head-on tackle. You use the proper technique. You lead with your shoulder. You wrap with your arms. You lift up, and you drive into the turf with your legs like you're supposed to. You have the proper technique.
Yeah.
Where are you going to land, though? Majority
if you're coming for the front, then you're going to land on the ground.
No, but vis-a-vis, if you're coming at me and I grab you and I'm driving you down, there's a good chance that when I land, I'm probably going to land on your lower torso or your legs because that's where gravity is going to take me. So to JJ Watts and all these other guys' point, aren't you just banning tackling?
Yeah, I think when you read what you just wrote, or I'm not sorry, when you read what you just read, I think that the NFL is probably going to have to make an adjustment, and I think it was misrepresented, is what I think. Because like I said, when they said they were going to, when they were going to ban, we're talking about banning the hip drop, I thought it was that picture, and that was the first thing that popped into my head, which is what they were talking about. And not only do they mention that, but they mention going at somebody.
And I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
They're all saying that it will likely be enforced similar to the use of helmet-to-helmet rule, which is typically leads to warning letters, fines in the week after a game rather than flags during the play. But it will also be resulting in a 15-yard penalty if flagged in the game. So not only they're saying, can you then at this point in time be flagged, but it can be then sent with either a fine or a warning after the game.
See what I find, and just for any Giants fans, right? Because I know just more because this is more recent. The Giants themselves, they put out some highlight film, right?
Right.
They talked about it on the website about our recent acquisition, Agent Zero.
Right.
And there were a handful of highlights where he was making a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, where he went forward, wrapped up with his head, and drove him to the ground.
That's a penalty.
And that right there is a 15-yard penalty based on what you just described. So
that's a penalty and a fine.
That's a penalty and a fine. So to me, it's like, dude, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing, man? Like, what are we doing? So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it was misrepresented. And they're probably going to have to go and amend it or something or whatever, because like that doesn't make any.
In a statement posted to social media, the National League Players Association said the rule would cause confusion among players, coaches, officials, and fans.
Yeah, of course it would.
NFL executive, let's see, Jeff Miller says there were 230 instances of tackling techniques that occurred during a game last season, with 15 players missing time as a result. So they were saying there was 230 infractions of this tackling technique that 15 players resulted in players missed. That's what, evidently to me, they've just banned tackling. And I'm not having a get off my lawn moment. I'm not having one of those moments. I'm just saying that if you go by the literal definition, and a lot of times what I hate about the NFLs and these new rules, they a lot of times will go off the literal definition. How many times have we seen, Rob, helmet to helmet plays?
Oh, I see it all the time, and some of them aren't even called.
That aren't even called, or they call them, and you look at them and go, he didn't lead with his helmet.
Like the running back rule where they talked about dropping your head and leading with your head. I still see running backs dropping their head when they go to hit a hole. I think since they implemented that rule, I think maybe I've seen a penalty twice. Maybe twice.
There was a play last year, and I can't remember the game, but I remember the 15-yard penalty because they said he led with his helmet and it was a helmet-to-helmet hit. and it was a sack on a quarterback, and the guy that actually sacked the quarterback he did hit him with his helmet, but he didn't his helmet was straight. He didn't bend down with the crown of the helmet like they say the rule is supposed to be. And his helmet hit the guy's shoulder pad. And as the helmet
I remember there was like a Monday night game or a Sunday night game.
Sunday night game, the inertia of his helmet went up and touched the guy's
face. Shoulder. Yep. But they called it. They called it that it was helmet. I remember. I don't remember the game, but I remember seeing exactly what.
I remember because I remember seeing it on Twitter, and I'm like, well, yeah, but by definition of the rule, that's a penalty.
Yeah. I've even seen it where it's almost not called. You know,
can we
like this? Like to me, like I don't like the forearm to the head because if the defender is coming at the quarterback and is trying to swat at the ball, and they go like this to swat, and the quarterback steps into the throw and hits the guy's forearm, that's a penalty.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's different than fucking clubbing somebody.
Back in the day, Deacon Jones. I'm old.
Oh, dude, he would he'd choke slam you or clothesline you or whatever.
The clothesline was removed from the NFL playbook
because of him.
Because of Deacon Jones.
Dude, I remember watching old highlights. He would just run up, and it was like JBL for giving somebody a fucking clothesline with his forearm. I was like, God damn, dude. Like, how's that guy even getting up? How's that even guy getting up? And it was with such force.
They did that. Him and Ray Nitschke from the Green Bay Packers and Chuck Bednarik used to do the same thing. They would, and Nitschke at times would actually put plaster of Paris around his arm. So if anyone came across the meal, he would just stick out his arm and just knock the guy the fuck out.
Reggie did it a couple of times too, where some of the times where he would go and he would just pound you in the head and tackle you down to the ground.
Like that makes sense. The head slap was another Deacon Jones thing that the NFL banned. The head slap is basically Deacon would come off the line and he would slap you, and he would
you right in fucking ring your bell a little bit
on the side of your head,
so it gets you a little bit off. Yep.
And literally, he would do that, and you would be stunned for like a quarter of a second, half a second.
Yep.
And
I remember watching like a little highlight. Dude, he swatted at somebody, their hand down like this, and then just came and boom, just smacked him across the head. And I remember watching the linemen; they were like,
"You're dazed."
You're in a, and he just went straight to the quarterback, bro. It was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
It's great, and things like that I can understand. Leg whipping.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or the what did they just recently ban? The crackback, crackback block. Yep. That I can understand because you're going at somebody's leg. They typically don't see you coming. You know, that's actually kind of what happened with Kayvon when he sprained his MCL, his rookie year. It was a crackback, or something like that. So
the championship teams of Bill Walsh with the 49ers, they were the king of the crackback block.
Yeah,
it was legal, but they used it well to their advantage. I just don't like these rules because I think it's just the fact that you're taking an element of the game out. And like I said, if I understand the picture you're showing, I understand everything else, but per the league definition, which we have on the bottom, you are basically outlawing proper technique. Will they change the verbiage? It would be a very rare instance for the league to change verbiage at this point in time. It's something that's already been passed. Why? Because to change the verbiage, you would have to get the rule then reapproved. You can't just between the Players Association and the league and everything else, you couldn't just all of a sudden say, hey, we're going to take these words out, because it's now illegal. Almost in some regards, it's like a legal document. I've seen this before. They would literally have to reapprove the rule if they're going to change the verbiage, because it changes then just like in a legal document or a clause in a document, it changes the actual meaning of what it is.
Unless they just don't call it from the front and they just call it from the back.
Well, see, the thing is, they don't even define if it's from the back.
Up until at the end of it they do, but like it doesn't seem like it's.
No, it just says dropping the hips and the lower body, landing on and trapping the player's legs at or below the knees. It does not say from behind.
Yeah, and I think that's where I'll be honest. I think you're going to see it called more if the guy is coming from. I don't think they're actually going to call it from the front. I think where you're going to see it is if there's a guy that's coming up the sideline, you got a guy trailing him,
Right.
and he wraps around his waist and drops his body weight down and traps his body weight on the back of the legs of the. Then I think you're going to see it called. I actually don't even think you're going to see it. I don't think they're going to call it if they're coming
My concern is this, and you have some of every officiating crew is different. That's why they get graded after every game. You have some officials that literally will follow the verbiage that the NFL puts out. We've seen that with pass interference penalties. We've seen that with, leading with the head penalties, leading with the helmet. We've seen that. So I think you're going to have some crews that are just going to be like, hey, if it's from behind, that's where we're going to take they always say this, we're going to take the spirit of the rule. But you're going to have some people that are going to go by the actual text. And
unless they have a group meeting. And I think when don't the refs get together?
You know what's funny about the refs that a lot of people don't know about it? Refs back in the day, back in the 80s and the 90s, was not a full-time job. These guys were doctors, lawyers. They would just work on the weekends. Now, being a ref, you get paid around as a full-time job. So yes, they do have meetings, and they do have what they would refer to as training camps and other things. But again, like I said, it's really going to be there, and they always say it's the ref's interpretation.
Yeah,
rule. And that's
unless it's something at their camp or in their meeting that they specify. Whoever's like in charge. I'm assuming that Gene Steratore is one of the lead people there that address it, and the other guy, Dean Blandino. Like, I'm sure those guys are like if that's the guy's name, they may specify to them, hey, on this new rule, we need to make it fair across the board. If the guy's coming up behind them, whatever, then that's when you're going to call it. Because I agree with you. Some people will look at it and say, well, the purpose of this was for this. And if I see this is what I'm going to call. And then there's other people that they do everything by the book.
Do you remember the Tate Crowder tackle 2 years ago against Derrick Henry in that opening game? The big
where he like lit him up and he kind of said, that would be a flag.
That would be a flag. And
that would be a flag right now.
He didn't hit him from the front.
He didn't hit him like kind of from the side, in his rib area.
He hit him from the side.
This is in his rib area, lowered his head, and then kind of like drove up. But didn't he kind of jump too? I thought Henry kind of jumped over somebody a little bit.
No. He got him. He got him a good tackle. It was a good tackle. A lot of people think it was a head-on tackle. No, it wasn't a head-on tackle. And Henry even said, because he ran for more yards in the second half, that it was running too upright. But he landed, by the definition of this new rule, because he tackled him from the side.
It'd be a flag.
Landed from the side, wrapped around his waist, and landed on his legs.
It'd be a flag. Yeah. 100%.
I don't know, man. It's weird. I want to get to a couple of these things I do have to check out, but I thought this was interesting because Michael Lombardo said the injury clause in the Jones contract is close to a fireable offense considering Jones's injury history. You would owe Jones $47 million against next year if he gets another season ender. Yeah. I mean, but don't worry, that Daniel Jones contract was
free. You see Ian put out here too. He said Sean Payton, Broncos head coach, views it as realistic that his team trades up in the NFL draft.
I saw that as well. I have to get to the super chat for Zach real quick. If the commies O-line is good, will you apologize? Oh, because of who their coach is. Bobby Johnson's the coach. Leave Rob alone. Coach Dave says, can you send me a link? No, Coach Dave, I don't have time today. I'm actually running really late today.
I will never say sorry, Zach, ever.
Listen, I will say this. I will say this to Zach, and I will say this to Rob. If the Washington Commanders, whatever you want to call them, have a top 10 line,
oh God,
and Daniel and Bobby Johnson is in charge, Rob, you have to say this. Because you think he sucks. If they have a top 10 line, will you come on and say and give an apology to Bobby Johnson? If they have a top 10 line.
If they have a top 10 line, but Jaden Daniels is running all over the field, making it easier on Bobby Johnson, no.
Most offensive linemen will tell you having a scrambling quarterback is the worst quarterback in the world to have. because of the fact that more sacks occur when you have a scrambling quarterback. People used to say that about Michael Vick. They loved Michael Vick, but they hated playing him because they never knew where he was.
Listen, at this particular point, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Shouldn't we be rooting that Bobby Johnson continue his horrible tenure, being that he's with the Washington Commanders? Shouldn't we be hoping for the infiltrational destruction that Bobby Johnson with the Commanders?
With Kayvon and Kayvon 2.0, we shouldn't have to worry about Bobby Johnson at all. We should just be a single.
Listen, listen? You got Bobby Johnson coaching that line with Kayvon and Agent Zero on the opposite side. Lunch.
What did Connor Hughes? What did Connor Hughes just tweet? I'm not on Twitter. Do you know what Connor Hughes just tweeted?
I can pull it up for you.
Yeah, because I'm not on Twitter here. I got too many screens open. I want to thank everyone that's been tuning in. We've had a lot of good people in the chat today. It's been a fantastic chat today. It's good. Mondays are always a great day in the chat. We have R0B going out there to find out what the hell Connor Hughes just said. Mr. Weaver put it in the
Okay, so he tweeted out 18 minutes ago, if Giants were to fall in love with a QB in the draft, John Maris said he would support Joe Schoen, Brian Dable drafting one. Maris says the Giants are looking at quarterbacks. He later added, he's been told this is the best QB class in years. John Mara, come on, can we get a moment? You're looking for something.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Mr. Weaver. I'd like to thank you.
Wait. I want to thank everybody for believing in me and being so hard and telling me how horrible of an owner I am, and that I just needed to trust my GM and my coach.
Don't forget to thank God.
You.
Don't forget to thank God. You always have to thank God.
Thank you. Thank God.
Oh my God. Stanley, we gotta wait for him to come back. I gotta leave. I gotta go to the range, man.
I was just putting my award-winning acting trophy away.
It's probably like 60 degrees out. I got the bike out. I got the guns in the saddlebag. I gotta go to the range. Stanley wants to know, and I'm kind of curious about this as well, because Rob just never shows up, and when he does, he shows up fucking late. Hey, R0B, what's your take on JJ McCarthy?
So to kind of be quick, I like JJ. I think he's a good player. I think the knock on him is that he doesn't have a lot of the flashy plays on a consistent basis, like maybe a Caleb Williams or a Michael Penix does. And the knock on him is the last 2 years, he hasn't thrown for over 3,000 yards, but Michigan has had a top tier defense the last 2 years. Last year, they were a very good running team. And I think it just got to the point where Jim Harbaugh, not because he was incapable, I just think that Jim runs a specific style of system that's predicated on the run. If you go back to even looking at his days in San Francisco, Frank Gore and the fact of the running of the quarterback with Colin Kaepernick, he predicated on the running game. So I just think that JJ played the quarterback position the way that he was asked to play it. And I don't necessarily think that that's the way that he can play it. You see him on his pro day. You see him at the combine. The knock on him was he can't throw the ball deep. He threw a couple of 65-yard bombs. He threw another one at his pro day. He's got the arm strength. Does he have things he needs to improve on? Of course, all of these quarterbacks do. Even Michael Penix, right? All have things that they need to improve on. But I think at 21 years old, he's the youngest quarterback in this draft. He's athletic. He's got a strong arm. He's very, very quick. One thing that I'll take away that we discussed in some of our online Twitter spaces that we do is that he broke down the play that everybody was gossiping over. I forgot who it was against. I think it might have been against Ohio State, where he threw the ball right in between two defenders. The guy's back was turned. And when he broke down that play, he said when he was studying film and he watched previous games that he knew that when that specific player turned his back, he never looks back at the ball. And that's how we knew he was going to be able to fit that ball in there. That is IQ that you cannot teach. You just have to have IQ and studying capability as a quarterback to do so. So I think he's got that aspect of it. He's a good athlete. So I think the sky is the limit for him. But I also do think it would be predicated on him going not necessarily to the right system, but with a coach that's going to be able to use him the right way. And not try to get him to do things just to do things. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. But I think he's going to be good. I think he's worthy of a top 10. Obviously, I would even say top 5.
My thing is this, and people are going to take this the wrong way because it's not going to come out the wrong way, but this is what they're going to take it. When the Patriots won the Super Bowl that first year with Tom Brady on the quarterback, Tom Brady was not Tom Brady.
No.
They didn't ask Tom Brady to be Tom Brady. They asked Tom Brady to be the Tom Brady he was that year. Consistent, don't turn the ball over, do what you're asked to do. That's what, and I know that it's a bad example because both went to Michigan. McCarthy did what he was asked to do in Michigan. That's why his sample size is smaller than a Penix, than a Williams, than a Daniels, because they were different quarterbacks because they were asked to do more because they needed to do more for their team. I think Penix is rocking up the charts, and I've said it before, because he's the great unknown. 659 passes over the last 2 seasons. Great running game.
Over
good defense.
Yards.
That's just what they did at Michigan. So the unknown of JJ McCarthy is what I think is attracting a lot of NFL scouts to him, because they love his demeanor, they love his personality. He's one of those guys that the teammates want to play for. He reminds me, like I said, of the Jalen Hurts. We talked about that. Jalen Hurts is not the quarterback with the greatest skill set in the world.
He's a guy you want to play, you get behind.
His team
want to play for him.
The Eagles love him. They protect him like he is their baby brother. And we talked before, Jim McMahon back with the Bears in 85, same thing.
Yep.
Wasn't the greatest quarterback in the world, but that offensive line, that offensive unit, they loved him. And they would drive through a wall for him. That's what they say. A lot of people say about JJ McCarthy. So I don't think he's got the top 5 talent, because I do think even on the practice field, even on his pro day, even in the combine, I think, even to my wife's point, he needs a lot more body generation or torque to get the ball out as deep as someone like a Penix did, or a Joe Milton did, or a Caleb Williams can do, even though Caleb Williams didn't throw, or same with Jaden Daniels. He's going to need he's going to need more. I'm not saying he's going to be the windup like Tommy DeVito, but he's going to need more of a windup to get the ball deep. And that's easier to do when there's nobody in front of you.
Yeah.
Can he do a Jaden Daniels and just kind of jet it out
flick your wrist
when everyone's around him? Can he do that like a Caleb Williams? Can he do it like a Penix? No, I don't think he can. I think he's going to be more of a true pocket passer. And I think that.
But Tom was like that too. Tom had, like, when Tom, and I brought this up in the spaces, and people kind of killed me a little bit. And I feel like sometimes, like, when you bring up a player, they're like, "Oh my God, are you really comparing him to a Hall of Famer?" Well, I'm not comparing the career, but I'm comparing the prospect going into the National Football League. When Tom Brady, the knock on Tom Brady, even when the first few Super Bowls, right, up until when they beat the Eagles the first time in 2005, he just played sound football.
Right.
He didn't make mistakes. He didn't turn the football over. They had a really, really good defense. And that was it. The conversation around Tom was, oh, he's a good quarterback, but he's never going to put up the big time numbers.
Well, see,
but he can win.
Here's the thing, though. The Tom Brady's first Super Bowl, 16 for 27, 59%, 145 yards and a touchdown. He did what he was asked to do. When they beat Carolina, though, which was in 2004, he threw almost 50 times, completed over 66% of his passes for over 354 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he put up big numbers, plus the 400 yards in Atlanta, 300 yards against Seattle, the 500 yards in the loss to Philadelphia. So he's put up the big yards. But in that one season, like I said, that first season in 2002, 154 yards, 1 touchdown, only 59% of his passes. But he did what he won because he was done what he was asked to do.
Yep. And the thing with JJ is, like, maybe not necessarily this year, but like last year, I think there was a game against Toledo last year. They were down, right? And he needed to throw the football, and he threw for over 300 yards. He threw the ball 30 plus times, and he brought them back. They didn't win, but he brought them back into the game. So it's like, At the end of the day,
Like
like
Toledo is probably not going to help the case, though.
no, but what I'm saying is I think, and the other thing is you got to look at the situation that he was in, right? Roman Wilson is what, a second round wide receiver at maybe, but potentially a third.
Right.
Like he wasn't at LSU with 2 first round prospects. Brian Thomas and Neighbors, they're going to go in the first round. You have, at Washington, right, with Michael Penix, he's got a receiver that's going to go probably in the top 10, and he's got another one that's definitely going to go into the second round. So it's like he had some really, really good players. So that's my my thing. In regards to the question I see here about the Commanders,
It's gonna be the last question, guys.
I'm gonna go with Daniels. And I think that the Commanders are going to go with Jaden Daniels. To me, Drake May, I think is a good prospect. And I think he's the second best quarterback in this draft. But I think when you look at who they hired, right, look at what they've done. They brought in Marcus Mariota. When we got Daniel Jones and Brian Dable and Joe Schoen came here and they signed Tyrod Taylor, which was their first acquisition as a free agent, we said, oh my God, yes. So now if you're going to implement a game plan, a strategy to use Daniel Jones's legs, get him out of the pocket, get him on the move, now you've got a backup quarterback that can run a similar system in Tyrod Taylor, i.e. when we had the Giraffe and Mike Glennon, a year prior to that, and Jones went out, it was a completely different offense because you're not going to be running with Mike Glennon, right? I look at this Marcus Mariota thing as very similar to a Jaden Daniels, where if Marcus Mariota starts and Jaden Daniels comes in because Marcus Mariota is not playing good, you can run a similar system with Jaden Daniels that you're running with Marcus Mariota, or vice versa. If Jaden is the starter and he gets hurt for whatever reason, Marcus can come in and run a similar system. When you look at Cliff Kingsbury and what he did in Arizona with Kyler Murray, Kyler's first year, he was able to throw. They were using him in the running game. Like they were getting very, very creative with Kyler Murray running the football. Jaden Daniels is as equally, if not more equally, more talented than a Kyler Murray is as far as running the football. So to me, that to me is the more attractive part. On top of that, you really don't have a very good offensive line, and you're going to need a quarterback that's going to be able to make some plays with their legs as well. And I'll say this too, just because it's been said, in regards to the demographic that's in that area, when RG3 was drafted and all this other stuff, they rant and rave and love it there when you get a black quarterback in that area. And I think that's something that they want to also do. That's what Caleb, hometown kid, they would have loved it there. I think that's also something that's playing that they want to rejuvenate that fan base. They want to rejuvenate that area. So I think Jaden Daniels is the pick.
There's certain things I agree with and certain things I disagree with. First of all, if you were talking Marcus Mariota 4 years ago, I would say yes. Marcus Mariota does not have the skill set he had a couple of years going back into Tennessee. He's not the same player. He's not the same running quarterback. He's not the same guy with the same mobility. So in some regards, if you're looking at a quarterback that more mirrors Marcus Mariota, that would be Drake May. That wouldn't be Jaden Daniels. But if you look at the Cliff Kingsbury connection and Kyler Murray, then you would say, yes, it would make more sense with someone like Jaden Daniels because of the type of offense going even back to Texas Tech that Kingsbury would run. That then you would say Jaden Daniels. And the whole African-American white quarterback thing in Washington, I don't think that matters. I think they're looking for, because I think Dan Quinn, Matt Ryan. I don't perceive that being playing into the factor of Washington. I think Washington's going to pick the guy that they think that best fits what they're going to run. So it's a kind of an interesting dichotomy because in some regards you could say, yeah, fuck yeah, it's Jaden Daniels because of the Kingsbury connection and everything else. But then you look at Marcus Mariota and you say, well, kind of that's more like Drake May. And then you look at Dan Quinn and Matty Ice and you're like, well, if you had to pick the two, and it's not about the color of the skin, their playing style, May would be more like Matty Ice than he would Jaden Daniels. So it's kind of weird. And that's why I think the Washington pick is so weird, because they could go either way. And I think the Washington fan base would be happy And I think either one could fit into the system that they want to run, which kind of makes it weird because of the fact that we can't find anyone to fucking do anything. Big Don says, good news, Tim. I survived the date. I was actually going to ask you, Don, how your date went. I know you had a date going on the other day. I was going to ask you about, Don, I don't have your number. Do I have your cell number, Don? I don't think I do. I was going to text you the other day and I couldn't find your number. But I do think it's going to be interesting. Listen, guys, I am really late and I really do have to get out of here. Rob, don't go anywhere yet, but I want to thank everyone for coming in, stopping by, stopping out for almost 2 hours today. This is Tim the Stewart Giant Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC with the R0B. Appreciate everyone coming in, dropping by. You know what? New video tomorrow, no stream. We'll see you